Welcome back. All right, so the preseason rolls along. 4 games on the board. I am not watching the late game tonight. I figure I'm going to have a lot of late nights starting October 7th and going forward. So I'm going to take advantage of early evenings, spending time with the wife, which I think 99.9% of the audience understands, right? Makes sense. All right, so 4 games on the board. I do not have the game between Buffalo and the Detroit Red Wings on the board. I didn't have an option of watching that. So it is preseason, so it's not necessarily a huge surprise when that happens. All right, starting things off, the Rangers and the Islanders. Battle of New York. So Riddick versus Quick in this one. Good early forechecking by the Rangers. The Rangers, in fact, had 4 of the first 5 shots in this game. We get a power play, though, for the Islanders. A little bit against the flow of play. That leads to a shorthanded near miss for Connor Sherry as Sherry continues to try to work his way towards a contract with the New York Rangers. I will say this for Connor Sherry. He's had a really strong preseason. And so if the Rangers don't give him a contract, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else does. So that power play is killed off. The Rangers press with 8.5 minutes left. The teams trade rushes and turnovers. And then at 14:23, it's Veremyev opening the scoring. He scores from Day. The Islanders then, blood in the water, and they go for it. They press for another, and they get it. At 14:46, so 23 seconds later, Chris Terry, he scores from Pelech and Jeffries. He buries this one from the side of the net, so it's 2-0 in favor of the Islanders. But the Rangers would answer quickly. 16 seconds later, it's Trocheck deflecting a point shot top shelf. Fox and Lafreniere with the assists to make it 2-1. The Rangers then get a power play and they score on it at 17:21. It is Othman putting one short side pass to screen. The assist to Morrow and Sherry. So there's Connor Sherry on the board again. And the Rangers, with all this momentum, 12 seconds later, they score again. It's Berard scoring on a pass from behind the net. Laba and Sherry with the assist. So Sherry with a couple helpers. And Laba's on the board again. He has been prominent for the New York Rangers. At the very least, he should get into some games for New York this year. Maybe, right? So it's 3-2 Rangers after 1. Just 1 period of play. We got 5 goals already. Second period, early press by the Islanders. The Rangers press at 3.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. Morrow then has a shot that's held in order to get a change for the Islanders. Ritchie to Heineman, near miss there. Shots are 5-4 Islanders at 9 minutes. We then get a power play for the Rangers, and they score on it at 10:17. It is Miller from Trocheck and Zibanejad. The Rangers then have momentum. They're up 4-2. They look for another. 3:53 left. The Islanders get a power play. That's killed off. And then Zibanejad has a fast break that is saved in the final 30 seconds, which didn't feel like it was that consequential, really, just kind of a fun play. But it is 4-2 Rangers after 2. Third period. Hogberg and Garand take over in the net, respectively. Hogberg for the Islanders, Garand for the Rangers. We get a power play for the New York Rangers. That's killed off. The Rangers block when the Islanders get some pressure after that. The Rangers go back to the power play. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Palmieri, which is defended. He does not get to the net. The power play is killed off, however. And then on a rush out of the box, Berg scores at 6:59. So I think it was 9 seconds after his penalty ended. Jeffries with the assist on that. And so for Berg, nice to see him get a goal right out of the box. And that makes it a 4-3 score. Islanders draw a power play. That's killed off. Things get pushy and punchy on a Garand hold, but it's preseason, so nobody goes to the box. Then there's a near miss for Palmieri on a net drive. And then at 15:22, Veremyev is left basically not by himself, but he's able to put a puck in the crease. He scores from Berg and Maggio. So now the Islanders have momentum, and at 16:14, they take advantage of it. Palmieri gets that goal he was looking for all night. He scores from Pelech. All of a sudden, the Islanders have a 5-4 lead. The Rangers would pull the goaltender with 2:20 left, to no avail. The Islanders win 5-4. Shots on net, 15-6 Rangers in the first, 9 apiece in the second, 10-5 Islanders in the third. Final shots, 29-25 for the Rangers. Power plays, the Islanders 0 for 3, the Rangers 2 for 4. The hits, 26-24 for the Islanders. Riddick saved 20 out of 24. Hogberg saved all 5 shots in relief. Quick saved 13 out of 15. Garand saved 7 out of 10. Garand had a rough night. Goaltenders generally having some rough nights in the preseason. It is preseason. These things do happen. All right, next up, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Washington Capitals. So it's Vladar versus Stevenson. This game being played in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Protas has a net feed that's held pretty fast start, and that is Alexei Protas with that. The Caps had both shots 4 minutes in. So the Washington Capitals, known for shot suppression, this year's not going to be any different. Abels has a net feed that's picked off. Ilya Protas then takes a knee-on-knee. It's Noah Juleson going to the box. So it's been an aggressive preseason for Noah Juleson. The Flyers prevent an early setup, but the Capitals would score on the power play. It's Crystal wiring one from the slot past the screen. Lapierre and Chisholm with the assists at 8 minutes and 11 seconds to give the Capitals the 1-0 lead. Caps go back to the power play. That's killed off. Konechny's then denied on a rush. It's 1-0 Capitals after 1 period of play. Second period, Kolosov was starting the second period. I think they said it's the 4th game in a row. Kolosov's got some action here. We then had an interview with Derek King, the Bears coach. So Hershey's new coach, Derek King. And while they're talking to him, there's good flow. There's not a lot of shots or whistles at this point. We then get a power play for the Flyers. Things get pushy on a hold by Stevenson during that. That power play is killed off. 7 minutes in, the shots are 4-3 for the Flyers. But at 9 minutes and 10 seconds, Miroshnichenko with a nice goal. He puts it around Kolosov on a net drive. He scores that one from Dylan Strome and Sandin. The Caps press for another, and they would eventually get it. At 11:13, Milano scores to make it 3-0. Iorio and Lapierre with the assists. Flyers go back to the power play. That leads to 41 seconds of 5-on-3 for the Flyers, but we know the Flyers' power play struggles at the best of times. And in this game, you don't necessarily have the best players on your team because it's preseason. So that's killed off. Flyers press with 4.5 minutes left, and at 15:11, Gauthier buries a rebound after a puck hit the post. Abels and Ginning with the assists. So Philly's on the board, I should say. Washington's got the lead at 3-1. Flyers press for another. Things get kind of pushy at the horn. There's some emotion in this game. So it's 3-1 Washington after 2. Third period, there's an early press by the Capitals, but the Flyers get a power play. What did I say about the Flyers power play? Yep, exactly. On a shorthanded 2-on-1 rush that kind of became a 2-on-0, McMichael scored at 1:07 to give the Capitals their 3-goal lead back at 4-1, and then the Caps finished the kill. So Philadelphia's power play, I guess it's in mid-season form at this point. Shots are 2-0 for the Capitals at 5 minutes. The Capitals then score again, but it's immediately ruled a high stick, so no goal, and nobody argued with that. Miroshnichenko's then denied and close. Iorio thinks he may have scored. Was it the crossbar? Nah, the replay showed that it looked like it was in the net, but it's the preseason, so it didn't count. Yeah, so if you're an angry Caps fan, all I can say is the game doesn't really count. During the regular season, I think that's a goal. At any rate, Caps were in full control in the second half, and at 18:57, Sonny Milano hits the net. Lapierre and Frank with the assist. So for Milano, that's 2 goals. Your final score in this one is 5-4 in favor of the Cap, or 5-1, I should say, in favor of the Capitals, a 4-goal win. So for the Capitals, they're in mid-season form. The Flyers, it's going to be a long season, I think. Shots on net, and I know it's preseason, it doesn't matter, but this felt really like last season. Anyway, shots on net, 9-6 Philly in the first, or Washington in the first, sorry. 12-10 Washington in the second, 8-1 Washington in the third. So that's how you shut things down if you're the Caps. Just 1 shot for the Flyers in the third period. Final shots, 29-17 for the Capitals. Power plays, Philadelphia 0-4, Washington 1-2, and a shorthanded goal to boot. Vladar saves 8 out of 9, Kolosov 16 saves on 20 shots. Stevenson played the whole game for Washington. Saved 16 out of 17. It's not a bad game. All right, next up, Toronto and Montreal. So, Maple Leafs and Habs, the oldest rivalry in hockey. Hildeby versus Montembeault. Can we just admit that Toronto's fine? Whatever time Woll needs to take away is okay, because I think Hildeby's going to be okay as the backup for a while. If it's going to be an extended period, sure, but I think all of the, do they need another goalie talk? I think it's overblown a little bit for Toronto. Anyways, hitting was prominent early. Shots were at a premium. Pretty defensive battle. And then at 4:35, Lawton wires one far side on a rush, and it was the first shot of the game, and it's in the net. So 1-0 for Toronto. Habs press for response. The Leafs aren't giving them a path to the net. In fact, 8 minutes in, the shots are 2-1 for the Leafs. Lawton to Cowan gets picked off at the net, and then at 13:15, Lawton goes 5-hole on a 2-on-1 rush. McMahon and Michelli with the assists. It's 2-0 for Toronto. Montreal then gets a power play, and they score on it. Matheson goes top shelf past a screen. He scores from Suzuki and Caulfield at 16:26. The Leafs would answer. At 16:57, McMahon. He scored during a delayed penalty, and Montembeault was without a stick. The assist to Benning and Michelli. So there's Michelli with a couple of assists in the first period, and Toronto's up 3-1. Leafs then get a power play with 1:19 left, so They're up by 2 after the first. The power play rolls over to the second period, where the Habs finish the kill. They allow 1 shot total to Toronto. The power play then goes to Montreal next time out, and Laine scores on the power play. It's a cross-crease pass and in. Demidov and Messar with the assists at 5:07. So, Laine and Demidov may very well have some chemistry. We might have something to discuss. The Leafs then draw a power play. That's killed off. Things get pushy and sticky on Montembeault hold. No calls out of that because it's preseason. At 8:32, Lorentz puts one in off his skate. Not directed, may have been directed. It wasn't kicked. So, goal counts. Lawton and Thrun with the assist. Not like anybody challenged it. A, it's preseason, and B, was going to count either way. Then at 10:09, Lorentz gets the second from Lawton. So Lawton with 2 goals and 2 assists. Scott Lawton has been outspoken on how he felt he didn't live up to expectations in Toronto, and he's putting pressure on himself to be better this year. And tonight, he definitely looked a heck of a lot better. The Leafs then get a power play, so there's some booing for that. That power play is killed off. Unless they were saying boo earns, which is possible. The Habs went over 11 minutes without a shot. In fact, I think it was exactly 13 minutes between shots for them. With 2:58 left, the Habs get a power play. Things get pushy on a hold by Hildeby. That power play is killed off. Montreal manages 2 shots during that. I think they said towards the end of the game that Montreal had 4 shots during 5-on-5 play in the entire game. So after 2 periods of play, the score is 5-2 in favor of Toronto. Fowler was in the net for Montreal to start the third period. Things all get pushy and punchy at 2:31, but again, no penalties called. Hildeby wasn't busy, but I thought he was pretty sharp when he was called upon. Then at 5:03, it's Benning with a slap shot short side from the wall. Lorentz and Lawton with the assist. So there's Lorentz and Lawton again. It's now 6-2. The Habs get a power play. That's killed off. Montreal then draws another power play. That's killed off as well. So back-to-back power plays for Montreal. They were not able to generate anything there. And then at 12:23, Tverberg scores on a rush. He scores from Myers to make it 7-2. And the No Mercy Magnets on the board for the first time this preseason. 7-2 win for Toronto. Shots on net favored Toronto the whole way. 6-5 in the first, 11-4 in the second, 8-4 in the third. Final shots 25-13 for Toronto. Power plays 1 for 3 for Toronto, 2 for 5 for Montreal. The hits 34-28 for the Leafs. Hildeby saved 11 out of 13. Montembeault saved 12 out of 17. Rough night for him. Preseason, you just wash it away. And Fowler saved 6 out of 8 in relief. All right, last game of the night. And wrapping things up with Dallas and Minnesota. I got really tired tonight watching these games. I think it was the Dallas-Minnesota game. Not lying. As soon as that game got started, I was trying to follow all 4. My eyes start getting heavy. So it's DeSmith versus Wallstead in this one. Kolyachonok has a wrister that's held. The Stars press at 7.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. There's hardly any shots in this first period. There's really, by the end of it, there's 15, but most of those are late in the period. There's a near miss for Ogren. The Stars clear it. Bastian has a turnover chance. That's held. With 9.5 minutes left in the first period, 3 shots, all by Dallas. Zone time for the Wild. They needed some shots. Eventually, they get them. At 18:56, Rossi buries one on a pass from behind the net. Boldy and Jack Johnson with the assist. So Jack Johnson on a tryout, trying to get himself a contract. And then it is seconds later, 19:07. Rossi, it's a cross-ice pass and in. Boldy in favor with the assists. And so it's 2-0 Minnesota. Now, Minnesota on social media, on X, trolled the Dallas Stars and said, did you guys realize you had a game today? Put a pin in that. Don't do it during the regular season because people see it. Second period, Stars draw a power play. That's killed off. Shots are very, very little in this second period. The Wild had the only 2 shots 6.5 minutes in. So 2 shots in the first 6.5 minutes. Then they have an interview with Bill Guerin. Guerin talked about, contract talks and all this other fun stuff. 19 shots in total in this game, 30 minutes in. So pretty quiet game. And this, I've mentioned before, I don't mind the interviews during the play in the preseason. It's not a big deal. During the regular season, that's where it kind of irks me. And if it's playoffs, I really get irked. But either way, we had 2 minutes of 4-on-4. Not a lot happened there. The teams trade rushes and turnovers after that was done. We were back in 5-on-5. And then at 16-17, it's Wyatt Johnston scoring for Dallas with the assist to Bourque and McDonald. So 1-0, or 2-1, I should say, in favor of Minnesota. Stars then look to tie it. They do not before the end of the second period, so they remember that in the third, and they tie it in the third. 35 seconds in, Johnston scores from the slot on a turnover. Hritscovian with the only assist on that. Suddenly we have a 2-2 tie. I haven't looked to see if Minnesota deleted that little tweet they put out. So the Wild look to respond. Jones fires one wide on a rush for the Wild. Good Stars forechecking leads to some pressure. In fact, the shots are 5-2 Dallas, 7 minutes in. Stars draw a power play, and just after the power play comes to an end, at 9:21, Hritscovian scores, so he gets a goal to go with his assist. We'll see if he ends up playing some games for Dallas this year. Does he end up breaking camp with the team? We'll find out. With Jamie Benn out, there's definitely an opening there for a forward to get in that otherwise wasn't going to. The Wild press to respond, but the Stars doing a good job of blocking the net. Dallas then goes back to the power play, and they score on it. It is Bork. 8 seconds into the power play, he gets the goal. Johnston and Kyrou with the assists at 13:54. Suddenly, Dallas has a 2-goal lead at 4-2. 4:54 left. The Wild draw their first power play. That one's killed off. The Wild press after it's done. Eventually, the goalie pull happens with 2:47 left. And at 18:54, Kolyachonok hits the empty net. He scores from Becker and Huru. Or Huru, sorry. I see Hyry and I think Hyrie, but it's Huru. At any rate, 5-2 win for the Dallas Stars. So impressive, I guess, considering preseason and all that. But either way, they were down 2-0. They came back and they won the game. So that's something to build upon. Shots on net, 10-5 Dallas in the first, 7-5 Dallas in the second. Both teams had 10 shots in the third. Final shots, 27-20 for Dallas. Power plays, Dallas 1 for 3. Minnesota, they did not score on the only power play they had. The hits, 31-22 in favor of Dallas. DeSmith saved 18 out of 20. I thought he had a good game. A little bit of a shaky first period, allowing 2 goals on 5 shots. But, a cross-crease pass and a pass from behind the net, those are 2 of the most common ways of scoring in the NHL. Wallstead saved all 12 shots he faced. That's good news for Minnesota. Then Levi came in and saved 10 out of 14. So one thing that I don't think gets enough attention in these games that, things turn around and everything changes, the goalie changes. And while we would love for every goaltender to be equally good, that's generally not the case. And it just shows that these results aren't necessarily the big deal. So a team loses a lead, it's not necessarily a big deal. It's just the preseason. But it is something to keep an eye on as we get into the regular season. You don't want a team to get into bad habits. So let me know your thoughts. One thing I did notice with the Minnesota game, Kaprizov did play. He was quiet. So we'll see if that's still the case once we get into the regular season, but he was quiet tonight. But let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.